Thank you very much for availing yourself this afternoon. This is the Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions. My name is Jafet Moyo, the Secretary General. With me it is the President, Comrade Peter Mtasa. He's going to be taking you through a position the ZCTV has taken after its policy conference, which was held last month. We have been working on this issue for some time, and we have decided now to share our views concerning what we are going through as a nation. And what are the positions the ZCTU is currently taking as we move forward. I now hand you over to the President to talk to you.
Thank you and good afternoon. I will go through the statement and highlight the major issues that are coming out of the policy conference, as the SGS already indicated. The Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions, acting on behalf of workers and the people of Zimbabwe in general, today announce our displeasure over the reluctance of the government to decisively deal with the current economic meltdown bedeviling the country and threatening public livelihoods. The nation is now at a crossroads, as we are already witnessing shortages of basic foodstuffs and essential commodities such as fuel, drugs, electricity, clean water, while the general infrastructure is dilapidating. The cost of living has become unbearable for ordinary people due to skyrocketing prices of basics triggered by the lack of confidence in the bond notes, a surrogate currency which is collapsing against the US dollar and other currencies. Such a trend is an adverse effect of eroding and devaluing workers' salaries and savings, thereby condemning them to the 2008 scenario where people were reduced to paupers. The four-tier pricing system is exposing the public, which has been condemned to the use of the devalued bond note. With most retailers seemingly unwilling to readily accept the use of plastic money, we are slowly being driven towards barter trading as ordinary citizens do not have access to the hard currencies. It has become very difficult for the public to access cash from the banks. People are not even accessing their salaries, and the worst scenario is that pensioners, some as old as 80, are sleeping outside banks. This has resulted in the public failing to meet their daily obligations that ensure decent livelihoods. Sooner or later, people are going to find it difficult to pay for foodstuffs, rentals, school fees for their children, resulting in huge dropouts, as service providers would respond to the crisis and pass on the cost to consumers. Farmers are going to lose out on their earnings as prices of inputs will be unaffordable. The informal economy will also not be spared, condemning more than 90% of the population which survives on informal activities into destitution. The avenging spirit of 2008 needs to be exercised before it wipes out our dignity and humanity as Zimbabweans. It is no secret that the country is in this serious predicament largely because of fiscal indiscipline that is being driven by a culture of consumerism by a broke and clueless government that cannot accept that it has failed. The spiraling black market can only be blamed on the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe as the sole monetary authority and government ministers. How do we explain the existence of millions of mint crisp bond notes on the streets when the banks are only issuing the smallest coin denominations? Mangunja must explain to the nation how these huge sums of money are ending up in the hands of a few individuals. It is our view that the Reserve Bank is responsible for fueling the black market, as no ordinary citizen would access such huge amounts of money when the banks have withdrawal limits known to all and sundry. As Labour, We cannot sanitize this state carelessness with silence for another day. And we are calling upon our constituents and every right-minded Zimbabwean to condemn this genocide on our people by any means. Given the present environment of fear and oppression, our message to the people is that too much fear breeds misery in the land. Let us rise up and cure this cancer before it devours all of us. Against this deplorable situation, we cannot continue to pretend that all is well. Recently, the head of state, President Robert Mugabe, admitted that his government has made mistakes in managing the economy. He even went on to lambast the state-owned parastatals that are not performing due to mismanagement and corruption. To make matters worse, the industry is being annihilated as business cannot even get money to buy raw materials. It is no secret that there is no investor confidence anymore. The confidence that was cultured during the period of the government of national unity has evaporated, and we are descending towards the 2007 to 2008 situation. No one has confidence in the current government given its dismal record of corruption and disdain for reforms. If the truth be told, the sender cannot hold anymore and things are falling apart in our faces. Without beating about the bush, our problems are emanating from the state and in particular the presidents. The succession debacle is increasingly becoming a major country risk factor on a daily basis, and if left unchecked, it will certainly sink the nation. It is only the people of Zimbabwe who can free themselves from this bondage, and we are calling upon Zimbabweans to push for reforms. Our future and that of our children is now in our hands, is now in the hands of a bunch of clueless politicians, and it is up to us to stand firm and reject to be condemned to the gallows of a few selfish individuals. In doing so, we stand firmly by the principles of democratic constitutionalism that are embodied in the People's Charter, which represent the birthright of every Zimbabwean. So, in conclusion, the ZCTU demands the following. The ZCTU demands that government must do the following. Firstly, government must dissolve and pave way for a transitional authority that can boost confidence in the economy and salvage the little that is left as we go towards elections. We believe that a transitional authority would provide an appropriate vehicle for ushering the required reforms. Immediately, government should replace the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe Governor, John Mangunja, with a competent and non-partisan individual who can bring sanity to the monetary system. The transitional authority should be tasked with reviving the social contract, and in that regard, it should call for a national stakeholders meeting to iron out economic issues and find a common way forward. This should include representatives from labor, women and children's rights groups, churches, and various other interest groups, including the youth, those living with disability, and all of us. In the event of the above conditions not being met, the ZCTU commits itself to continue in actions that increase pressure on whoever will be holding state power to embrace people-centered developmental democratic processes. In the meantime, the ZCTU is consulting its affiliates. We are consulting other trade unions that are not affiliated to us. We are consulting other federations as well as the social movements on the nature and form of action to be taken should government fail to heed our call. Thank you very much.